what the text says. He came closer to his brothers and said, listen, I've just had an experience. And that experience requires me to let you know something. Like in a flash. While all this was happening, like a flash, like in a split second, his mind went back to the history, his own legacy, his own destiny. He remembered. I mean, notice now, you got to get this. They say when you're in an accident, sometimes your whole life can flash back. So he saw himself as a young kid. He saw his dream. He saw his dream where his sheaves of wheat were standing up. Everybody else's sheaves were bowing down. In a flash, he saw his brothers who hated him when he told them a dream. You mean you're going to stand up and we're going to be bowing down to you? They couldn't stand his guts. He remembered when his father sent him down to check on him, how they said, we're going to kill him. Let's get that dreamer. And so they decided that they would do it. But what they eventually did is took his garment. And I like that. That's why I put on my robe, so I could dramatize it. Maybe put a picture in living color before you that you will remember. So he took his robe and said, see, Dad? And they said, oh, the animals have my son. And Jacob, his father, was just grieved about that. Then he remembered how they took him and put him in a well, and then they picked him up out of the well. They sold him into slavery, into Egypt, and he got a job at Potiphar's house. And at Potiphar's house, they said he was a handsome and good-looking man. And Tiffany, Miss Potiphar sat her eye on the brother, wanted the brother to get down, but the brother decided, no, I'm going to stand up for my values. But that didn't matter when she made advances against him and grabbed his coat. I wore this for that person. Grabbed his coat. I want to pause for station identification. Sometimes, brothers, it's best to leave your coat behind. He grabbed his coat. And he remembered how he went to prison and he interpreted the dream. Because he interpreted the dream, the king had a dream that couldn't interpret, so he was called to the palace. He interpreted the dream. There will be 7 years of plenty to be followed by 7 years of famine. And all of this happened to him. And then it happened. All of a sudden, he has to ask himself, where did that dream come from? He now sees it interpreted. He sees the brothers bowing down like that dream, and he's standing up. He has to ask himself, when they put me into the well, why was there no water in the well? I might have drowned. When Mrs. Potiphar came after me, why was I not tempted and yielded to the violation of my honor? Why is it that I, even in prison, rose up to be the big guy there? Why is it that I was given the gift of interpretation? Why is it that I was given, why was I called to the palace? And why did the king see in me the capacity to be in charge? And why am I now Zaphanath? And why do I have sons, Ephraim and Manasseh? And why am I second only to the king? Why was my life spared? And then he says, I now know. So I have one more thing to share. He said, I now know it was the hand of God. And I want to come down and say to you that I don't know who you are sitting out here today. I believe you are considered the cream of the crop of this community. That somehow God has blessed you. You did not make yourself. Anytime you see a turtle sitting on top of a pole, no, he didn't get there by himself. You are who you are today because the hand of God has been working. Not that you are perfect, not that you've always been the person looking down on others, telling them what they ought to do. No, God's hand has made you who you are That's one thing we need to be able to be. If the work of race reconciliation would happen, because people will know, not that I'm better than that racist neighbor I got. No, you're not so much better. You are who you are today because God made you who you are. God gave you what you got. God sustained you in the epidemic and you are yet alive. It is because the hand of God has preserved you. For what? And that's the big issue. For what? Joseph says to his brothers, listen, don't be angry with yourselves, because they are now cowering. Oh God, that's our brother. He said, I'm Joseph. They thought, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, he's going to get me. That's why I say gun legislation is about people being scared when they have been discovered. They were scared to death. He said, don't be scared. He said, you sold me into Egypt, into slavery, but God sent me. If you all, I'm from a black church, but you all say, you sold me, but God sent me. I want to say that on behalf of black people in America. Yeah, if y'all, white folks, anybody in here white, I want you to get this message across this thing. White folks, we ain't worried about trying to find retribution against what your granddaddy did to us. We are not worried about trying to put white folks down. That we were deprived of dignity and respect and honor and justice. And the deprivation gave us such a longing for it that we're too busy looking for justice and peace and equality to have time to come trying to find some revenge against you all. Y'all better get that message over to these people. Tell them people we're not worried about coming after them. And if they don't believe it, tell them to go down to Charleston, South Carolina, at Mother Emanuel, where they want to know what you want to do to these people. Say, I ain't worried about that brother. I forgive that brother. They say, ain't that premature? You ever maybe we just ain't got time to worry about beating up on him. We just want freedom. We want the flag to come down. And while you're bringing the flag down, bring the flagpole down too. And then bring the mentality down as you bring the flagpole down. These brothers were scared. Joseph said, don't worry. You sold me, but God sent me. And now I'm beginning. I'm not close to the time that I'm supposed to. Listen. You sold me, but God sent me. And this is where the heart of the message is. That's relevant to the theme for which I was invited to talk to you today before I decided I was going to preach to you. Joseph says, God sent me first to preserve life. So, since this is to be participatory, let me say about me. As I listened to this, Joseph describe what he was about, it occurred to me that that's me too. God, y'all, I could have been dead and gone. I could have died when I was in Africa in 1960 when I caught malaria so badly that I had to go to the hospital. Had I been up in North, I'd have been dead today. The Lord kept me alive. The Lord kept me alive when I had my tonsillectomy. And some other things that I don't need to mention here today that could have taken me away. Preserve life. And I would want to make 2 trips. The first trip is to say to these young people at this table, hey young brothers, we are lifesavers, like Joseph. There are people today who will be alive because of what you do. Now, there are gangs, and they sometimes to get initiated into the gang, you have to take a life. Not us. We have been made by God, and our job is to save lives. You can help save lives. I plead to you young people first, But then there's some old folks over here at this table. Understand that whatever your role and your responsibility, some of you may be doctors, some of you may be lawyers, some of you may be community organizers, some of you may be beauticians, some of you may be mechanics. But each day the choices are there. Something you do can save a life. Each of us, like Joseph, I know we talk about racism. You can save the life of some black boy, some white boy, some Latino kid, some Muslim boy, some Catholic kid. You and I can save life. But let me explain to you, it's not always standing with a gun. Do you understand that if there is inequity in the land, that somebody in Flint, Michigan could have saved a life? And we don't know what's going to happen to those kids with their lead poisoned heads, you know. But the policies that you make, that you went down to talk to the legislature, you can help the legislature make life-saving choices. Every bill that passes through, I guarantee you, somebody dies or somebody lives based on the decisions that are made each and every day. Those of you who are in business, you look like you used to play football. I appreciate, they may not get the Academy Award, but I appreciate concussion because it says, you know what, for money, folks will let you bang your head up and do all sorts of stuff as long as they're making money off of you. Or the other, the Big Short, that banks, is there a banker in the house? I want to find a banker. Is there a banker in the house? That banks will play games with people's lives just because it's profitable. Oh, we all play that game. Law, I mean, even we'll let stuff die in the organization long it's profitable to sustain ourselves. We are called upon to be lifesavers. But let me move up to life in general. I've been dishing out this food to save life in general. But I was called, a promise was made to Abraham and Rachel and Sarah and Isaac and all that to save the life of your people. But I had never paid attention that Joseph says, finally, I will provide for you there, since there are 5 more years of famine to come, so that you and your household and all that you have will not come to poverty. Did y'all hear that? So that you and all that you have will not come to poverty. Poverty in the eyes of God. If you don't have clean water to drink, in the eyes of God, that's poverty. Since poverty is deprivation of that which is essential for the fulfillment of your being. Poverty, you liken essential as water. Human beings made in the image and likeness of God. If you don't have a sense of purpose and meaning, if you don't know why you are here and how your success and your development is important to God, for the larger plan of God. The old folks used to say, poor thing. He's a billionaire. Poor thing. He doesn't know why he exists. All he does is make more and more money, and he robs from the poor in order that he might have something to pass on. And he can't pass it on. Somebody else has to pass it on, because when he's gone, he ain't passing nothing. If they ever understand that being made in the image of God, they'll never be complete without a sense of purpose and without meaning. If they ever discover that even though they think they're going down to the dust, if they don't understand that there's a place for their existence that's being woven by the hand of God in the fabric of the plan of creation itself, they don't understand that. They live beneath their privilege. You've been so good to me. You made me in your image, and then you set my spirit free. You have always seen more good in me than I had been aware. And down and out and filled with doubt, you're the answer to my prayer. Alpha and Omega, you're the one who makes me whole. My all-sufficient comforter, you're the keeper of my soul. Mighty rock of ages, you always see me through. That's why I dedicate this song to the one and only you. in the way that I talk, in the way that I think, and in the way that I pray. In everything I do, I want to honor you by the way I live each day. Again, in the way that I walk, in the way that I talk, in the way that I think, and in the way that I pray. In everything I do, I want to honor you by the way I live each day. God bless you.